Welcome to the Islamic bookshelf. Before we begin, just a few minutes of serious thinking might change your entire perspective on life. Have you ever felt, despite all the money, status, or relationships you have, that something is missing? A mysterious emptiness inside you that you cannot describe. That is the spiritual void, and we will discuss it in detail today. Our question: can humanity live without religion? Let's start with a real-world observation. We live in the most materially advanced age in history. Humanity today possesses technology our ancestors never dreamed of. We communicate across continents in seconds, travel to space, build AI that thinks faster than us. But there is a stunning paradox. With all this progress, rates of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and even suicide have skyrocketed, especially in the wealthiest Western societies, who reports over 280 million people suffer from depression. In the US alone, suicide rates have increased by 35% since 2000. Why? The reason is both simple and profound. The body is satisfied, but the soul remains hungry. A human is not just a biological machine. We have a soul, as the Creator told us, and that soul needs peace, purpose, meaning, and connection to a higher source. God says in the Quran, "Those who believe and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of God. Indeed, in the remembrance of God do hearts find rest." Surah Ar-Ra'd, verse 28. This is not merely a religious verse. It is a universal truth confirmed by modern science. The famous psychologist Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi camps, founded logotherapy, meaning-centered therapy. He said, "Existential tension, the emptiness from loss of meaning, is the greatest disease of our age." His research proved that people lacking faith or a higher purpose are more prone to depression, addiction, and suicidal thoughts. Another study in JAMA Psychiatry, 2018, followed thousands of people for years and found that those who describe themselves as spiritually meaningful enjoy 70% better mental and physical health than others. So the spiritual void is not a passing feeling. It is a real epidemic threatening humanity. And material things, no matter how abundant, cannot fill it. This is our first proof that we were created for something greater than eating, drinking, sex, and money. Now someone might say, if religion is the solution, why do so many reject it? And why have strong atheist movements emerged in our time? Let's speak frankly about New Atheism. This movement, led by thinkers like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, and Daniel Dennett, differs from traditional atheism in two ways. First, it is aggressive and loud, not content with doubt, but attacking religion violently. Second, it claims that science has replaced religion, and belief in God is an ancient myth to be eliminated. But is this claim correct? Let's examine the flaws of New Atheism one by one. Flaw 1. Turning science into a new god, a contradiction. Science, wonderful as it is, has limits. Science studies the material world, atoms, galaxies, cells, physical laws. But it cannot say anything about the unseen, purpose, moral values, or consciousness itself. When the New Atheist says, "There is no God because science hasn't proven it," he commits a gross logical fallacy. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. More importantly, the statement "nothing exists except matter" is itself a metaphysical assumption, not a scientific fact. It is faith, not science. How can they criticize faith while practicing it? The British philosopher Antony Flew, once a famous atheist who later believed in God, said the New Atheist claim that science can explain everything is a new myth, not science. Flaw 2. Complete failure to answer why. Science tells us how the Big Bang happened, how life evolved. But it cannot, and never can, answer the question, why? Why is there a universe instead of nothing? Why are the physical laws so exquisitely fine-tuned to allow life? If the force of gravity or electromagnetism changed by a fraction of a percent, the entire universe would collapse. This fine-tuning, as physicists like Paul Davies and Martin Rees state, points to an intelligent designer. New atheism ignores this fact or tries to explain it with the multiverse, an unprovable hypothesis. Replacing one creator with billions of invisible universes is not science. It's an escape from reality. Flaw 3. Moral collapse. If we are mere biological accidents, products of random mutations and natural selection, why should we be moral? Why consider murder, theft, and lying evil? In the new atheist view, morality is just evolutionary convention that helped our ancestors survive. But that means there is no absolute good or absolute evil. Everything is relative. And if everything is relative, why criticize Nazism or ISIS? Aren't they also following their relative morality? This is the greatest contradiction. The new atheist wants to build a universal morality with no solid foundation. But the believer in God says, good is what God commands, evil is what he forbids, an objective, unchanging basis. God says in the Quran, indeed, Allah commands justice, excellence in ethics and deeds, and giving to kinsfolk, and he forbids indecency, wickedness, and oppression. He admonishes you so that you may take heed. Surah An-Nahl, verse 90. This is clear, just, and eternal morality, not relative or changing. So new atheism is not a reasonable alternative to religion. It is an empty materialist ideology that promises freedom, but delivers emptiness. Promises science, but falls into existential silence. Now we come to the core. Why do humans believe in God at all? Is it just cultural inheritance? Or is there something deeper? The answer is found in the Quran, in a pivotal verse. So direct your face self toward the religion with pure inclination, adhering to the natural instinct, Fitrah, upon which Allah has created mankind. No change should there be in the creation of Allah. That is the correct upright religion, but most people do not know. Surah R-Rum, verse 30. The word Fitrah means the original nature, the primordial programming upon which God created every human. Just as your eyes were created to see, your ears to hear, your heart and soul were created to know God, love Him, and worship Him. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, every child is born in a state of Fitrah, natural inclination. This means every infant enters this world with an inherent, innate predisposition to recognize and believe in the Creator. Subsequently, it is the influence of parents and the surrounding environment that reshapes this original state, molding the individual's religious identity, making them Jewish, Christian, or Magian. The concept of Fitrah, universal, scriptural, and scientific evidence. This concept is not exclusive to Islam. Let us open the Torah, specifically Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael. This is the essence of pure monotheism. Similarly, in Genesis, it is mentioned that God created Adam in his image, meaning, endowed with his sound Fitrah, the innate disposition toward truth and perfection. In the Gospel, Jesus, peace be upon him, says in Matthew 5:8, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And in John 14:6, I am the way and the truth and the life. Jesus calls to the absolute truth, which is God Himself. All divine scriptures converge on a single fact. Humans are inherently created to recognize their Creator and seek proximity to Him. Scientific evidence for Fitrah. Now, what is the scientific evidence for Fitrah? 1. Cognitive psychology. Dr. Justin Barrett, a cognitive psychologist at Oxford University, conducted extensive experiments on young children. He discovered that children, even those without any religious upbringing, spontaneously exhibit a belief in an eternal Creator. They intuitively understand that the natural world could not have emerged from nothing. Black circle children naturally tend to explain the existence of mountains, animals, and stars as being purposefully designed by a higher being. Barrett termed this phenomenon cognitive readiness for belief. 2. Neuroscience. A study published in the journal Nature, 2014, found that specific regions of the brain, the parietal and temporal lobes, activate during spiritual meditation or when thinking about God. This suggests that the capacity for belief is hardwired into the very structure of the human brain. Conclusion: a programmed reality. Thus, Fitrah is not merely a religious theory, it is a scientifically observed reality. We are programmed to believe in God, just as we are biologically programmed to love our mothers or instinctively fear a fall. Fitrah is defined by three main characteristics. Universal: throughout history, all civilizations have acknowledged a higher power or a divine entity. Innate: it is present in humans from birth, as evidenced by studies on children. Necessary: it is essential for human well-being. Without it, individuals often face psychological and spiritual existential crises. Based on all the above, the answer is clear: no. Humanity cannot live without religion. Not because religion forces itself by the sword, but because religion is the only answer to the questions that never die. 1. Where did we come from? Science says random explosion. Religion says a wise creator. 2. Why are we here? Science says no reason. Religion says to worship God and build civilization. 3. Where do we go after death? Science says nothing. Religion says paradise or hell. Trying to live without religion is trying to silence the voice of Fitrah. You may succeed temporarily with distractions, but the void will always return. As the French poet Baudelaire said, "The devil's greatest trick is to convince you he doesn't exist." The spiritual void is the fruit of that deception. But the good news is that God did not abandon us. He sent prophets, revealed books, and guided humanity. And Islam, dear listeners, is not a religion alien to Fitrah. It is a return to Fitrah. It is a reminder of what humans already know deep inside. It is the path that balances soul and body, science and faith, this life and the next. Allah said, "Descend from it paradise, all of you as enemies to one another. Then if there comes to you guidance from me, whoever follows my guidance will neither go astray in this life nor suffer in the next." Surah Taha, verse 123. Whoever follows divine guidance will not get lost in the labyrinths of materialist philosophies, nor suffer from spiritual emptiness. Thank you so much for giving your precious time to this episode. If you felt even a little that these words touched your heart or opened a new window of thought for you, I ask you to support this channel. Please subscribe to the Islamic Bookshelf. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. We provide solid, simple, and meaningful content worth sharing with your friends and loved ones. Now, I leave you with a question in the comments, and I hope everyone shares their honest answers. What is the personal evidence you see for God's existence in your own life? Or, if you are still searching, what is the question that prevents you from believing? May you be in God's care. This was today's episode. See you in the next episode. Stay well.